Hello, I'm Jane Fonda, and this is A&M Studios in Hollywood, California. On the evening of January 28th, along with several other people, I was fortunate to be here and to witness an extraordinary event. 45 of the most remarkable singers in American popular music had come together to record a special song and make a special commitment. For many of us watching that night, part of the thrill was seeing so many diverse artists working together so compatibly, with serious purpose, but with a sense of humor and spontaneous spirit. After all, how often have any of us had a chance to see genuine legends like Ray Charles, Bob Dylan, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Diana Ross, Tina Turner, Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson, oh, and so many more, all in the same room, sharing harmonies, telling jokes, and even shedding tears. Frankly, it was a bit like a dream. The vision of an artist community coming together, declaring that an urgent common concern was more important to them than musical differences or individual renown. It was a dream too good not to share. And so in the next hour, we would like to give you a glimpse of some of the more enduring moments of that memorable evening. A few days before the actual historic session, another musical meeting took place. This time at Lion's Share Studios with Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and Stevie Wonder all present. By the end of the session, it was clear that the song not only had shape and substance, but also had enough heart and soul to inspire the kind of affinity necessary to bind together so many diverse singers. In fact, there was a spirit of cooperation, amiability, and exhilaration born at this session that would eventually carry over to the entire USA for Africa project.
Hello? Hello? How you doing, Louie? Man, are you kidding? Well, Stevie, Michael, and Lionel were here. And so we're just getting ready to cut the track now. We're getting ready to cut the basic now.
The next night, Michael and Lionel recorded a final rough version of the vocals, while drummer John Robinson, bassist Louis Johnson, and pianist Greg Phillinganes laid down some basic rhythm tracks. Then Quincy and engineer Humberto Gatica did a mix of the song and sent tapes of it to the other artists who were invited to lend their voices to the project. Finally, it was the night of Monday, January 28th. Trucks began arriving here at the A&M lot shortly after dark. Over 150 technicians and crew members began assembling a complex audio and video network of equipment. Nobody was receiving payment for their effort or materials. In fact, even the videotape you're now watching was contributed, and there was more than 45 hours worth of it used.
Don't worry.
By 8:30, A&M Studios had been transformed into the temporary capital of American popular music. Michael Jackson bypassed the American Music Awards to come in by himself and record one final guide vocal that Quincy could use as a map for the song's chorus parts. Then, a little after 9 p.m., the other singers and their guests began arriving. Many, like Cyndi Lauper and Tina Turner and Lionel Richie, were coming straight from the American Music Awards, where Tina and Cyndi had performed and Lionel had hosted. People who had been competitors only a few hours before were now meeting as partners in deliverance. Others like Daryl Hall, John Oates, Paul Simon, Billy Joel, and Bruce Springsteen had flown in that same day.
I'll be here. I guess this is where they leave me stay.
When I saw those faces come in the studio that night after the American Music Awards, and they just were checking in one by one, Ray Charles, and just on, and I started to feel that everybody was on the case, and they weren't involved in the egos, and that's one of the key words we had that night, was check your ego at the door.
This is some powerful magic gonna happen tonight, I feel it. We are.
You saw artists that had just met for the evening, hugging each other or comforting each other. I will tell you, though, no one was intimidated.
To walk into their midst and to feel an instant sense of camaraderie, an instant sense of belonging, an instant sense of oneness is a very, very unusual experience.
Hold it, everybody, please. First, I would like you to meet Bob Geldof, who is really the inspiration for this whole thing. Thank you, Chef. He just came back from Ethiopia, and he'd like to talk to you.
Oh, would I? Well, maybe to put you in the mood of the song you're about to sing, which hopefully will save millions of lives, I think it's best to remember that the price of a life this year is a piece of plastic 7 inches wide with a hole in the middle. And that, I think, is an indictment of us. And I think what's happening in Africa is a crime of historical proportions. And the crime is that the Western world has got billions of tons of grain bursting in its silos, and we're not releasing it to people who are dying of hunger. And I don't know if we in particular can conceive of nothing, but nothing is not having a cardboard box to sleep under at -10 degrees. Nothing is not having any drink to get drunk on, not having water. And you walk into one of the corrugated iron huts and you see meningitis and malaria and typhoid buzzing around in the air, and you see dead bodies lying side by side with the live ones, and on a good day you can only see 120 people die slowly in front of you. And in some of the camps you see 15 bags of flour for 27,500 people. And it's that we're here for. And I don't want to bring anybody down, but maybe it's the best way of making what you really feel, why you're really here tonight, come out through this song. So thanks a lot, everybody, and let's hope it works.
We're going to start out to, number one, I'd like to just let everybody know that the names down here are for solos. We're going to do the ensembles first, and to get all the stacking and all that carpentry out of the way. So if it's too high for anybody, they can just rest on this stack, and then we'll come back and put it away. Okay? So we'll make the playback, and then we'll start chopping wood. Okay? Okay. Now here it hums.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a brighter day. Just you and me.
Okay, let's put it on the tape.
We are the world.
The highest point was conducting that choir, because there were some moments in that chorus where I had goosebumps. That's my truth box. And the goosebumps were up all night long.
There's a choice we're making.
Whichever one feels good to you. Which one feels better or brighter? Brighter is the one everybody's leaning to, right?
Can make a change.
No, I think it should be brighter.
I feel like everyone was singing brighter.
This is brighter?
No better, brighter. Yeah, it's going to be brighter now.
A better has more bite. I don't want to open a can of worms. Stay with brighter. So we don't ever sing that?
No better. It's brighter. It's true.
We make a brighter day.
It's true we make a brighter day, just you and me, instead of better. Everybody say brighter, because that's what they're saying anyway. Can we hear about 4 bars without the track? Acapulco. 1, 2,
When you hear it on the radio, We Are the World sounds like one seamless, flowing performance. But working on it in the studio was like making a jigsaw puzzle, part by part, including some pieces that finally didn't fit, like this experimental chorus by Michael.
We are the world, shala, we are the children, shalinga.
Well, as usual, Michael was a real pro, and he worked so well with all the other artists. The chemistry was great, man.
We are the world, shala, we are the children, shalinga. We are the ones to make a shala. Let's start it, 'cause that's what we're giving. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
Everybody sings great. Everybody has a wonderful ear. Everyone caught on real fast. It's great to watch Quincy. I've never been in the studio with him, and he's a master, so that was a real thrill.
All the people that are here are ultra in their own right, and of course, I'm just so happy to get to see them.
So let's start giving.
You know, and I close my eyes and try to listen to the voices behind me, and I turn around and look at their faces, and I just love it.
It's something out of a dream. To see all of that energy together, it's what I've always wanted to see. It's a kind of energy that really can change the world. It's incredible.
One world, so let's start giving. All right.
All in all, Quincy and the group worked for about 4 hours that night until nearly 2 a.m., recording all the necessary parts to complete the song's tightly woven chorus. Just before the chorus broke up, there was this spontaneous tribute to Harry Belafonte.
That sounded like that.
All right, banana. Daylight come and we wanna go home. Each hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and we wanna go home. I said daylight come and we wanna go home. Again, daylight come and we wanna go home. Daylight come and we wanna go home. I like to sing and drink
cover, folks. All right, I will give you 5 minutes, okay? Get yourself together.
In addition to the meticulous recording of the song, there were some other matters the artists had to attend to that evening, including a 2:30 a.m. photo session for a 12-page article which ran in the April issue of Life, detailing the evening's events. 2:30 in the morning may not be the best hour for many of us, but there was a sense of fellowship in the studio that night that seemed to fuel everybody's spirit and stamina.
Back here.
Mass hysteria broke out because everybody wanted everybody else's autograph. I realized that there was a room of everybody being fans of everybody else.
Everyone wanted a memento that we could all keep ourselves, and we had the sheet music and had all the other artists sign it. And I don't think there was one out there that didn't get everyone to sign it.
During the evening, all of the artists signed 100 USA for Africa posters. Later, these posters would be sold with the money going to the project's Famine Relief Fund.
And it would be the best line in the tune.
I'm just going to move around till I get a line I like.
Then at 3 a.m., it was time to start the rehearsals for the montage of 21 lead vocals and duet and harmony parts that would give the song its unique character and flow. While Quincy read over the various parts with most singers, often showing them the precise phrasing he wanted, others worked their parts out in pairs. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles teamed together, for example, reading their lines with the use of an electronic braille machine.
That's yours. That's his. Yeah, then you.
And if you just believe, there's no way we can.
But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
You got it. Yeah. Can I go now? Oh, no.
We are the world.
We are the world. We are the children.
Those 2 lines. You open up the chorus, you know.
All right, great.
There comes a time.
When the world must come together as one. When the world must come together as one.
The exact order of the vocals and the job of deciding who would sing solos and who wouldn't, and how to match up so many dissimilar voices, had been made a couple of days earlier by Lionel, Quincy, and Quincy's associate producer and vocal arranger, Tom Baylor.
By turning stones to bread.
Yeah.
We all stand helping hand. We all got up, so let's start giving.
We ceased being individuals. We were a family so strong, so committed to something that it was frightening.
By 4 in the morning, everybody felt comfortable with their parts. In fact, everybody seemed quite invigorated. But just prior to the recording of the solos, something happened to remind all of us of the underlying serious purpose of the event. Stevie Wonder brought 2 guests into the studio, 2 Ethiopian women who had seen famine spreading across their homeland. As one of these women spoke to the artists, it was as if the reality of the tragedy in Africa had just come closer to home in an unforgettable way.
You need some Ethiopian.
ላደረግላችሁን በጣም እናመሰግናለን። እግዚአብሔር ይስጣችሁ፣ በእናንተ ውለታ ያስውለን። In English, on behalf of my country, we thank you for all you have done. Thank you very much.
What we do is we have mics in front of us, but what we'll do is you lean in on your part. And then when your part, you know, when the other person comes in, when you duet with someone, whatever the case is, when your part comes up, lean in. Don't sing back here. You sing back here, we'll never know your voice.
Step in or lean?
So, no, come on in. In other words, even though they have your name back here. You follow? Just, this is real recording. It's just the names are back there, but the mics are up here. Come to the microphone. Testing, 1, 2. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
Ready.
Are they ready?
There comes a time when we heed it.
Wait a minute. We gotta stop making noise during takes, please.
Green thing, hey.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, and it's time we lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere said will change.
We all a part of God's great big family.
And the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Won't you send them your heart so they know that someone cares and their lives will be stronger and free,
as God has shown us by turning stone to bread.
And so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children.
We are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
When you're down and out, there seems no hope at all.
But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall.
Well, let us realize, oh, that a change will only come when we stand together as one.
My fault, I didn't go down. I was a bit out of tune. I didn't go down.
Cindy, we had a lot of bracelets.
Oh, is that? Oh, my earrings. Oh, sorry. Oh, no.
There goes the
Should we take a break? No. That's chatter.
I'm going to do everything I can to sing that in tune, which I think will be a real nice gesture on my part. Can I help?
Yeah, it's good.
It's tough because we're far apart. Can I help? Put out a little more energy? I don't know that it's that you can. It wouldn't hurt. Thank you.
All right.
Especially this time, we're getting to that time of the morning where we must be as accurate as possible. Here we go. There comes a time when we heed a certain call.
After maybe only a half a dozen takes, the main sequence of solo vocals was finished. Now, there were only a few fill-in items left.
Whoa.
Fish burger! Fish burger! Da, 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 da.
They said, we are the world. So let's not give in. They said, there's a choice we're making. You know, we're saving our lives. It's true. You know, we make a better day when you have singing, have song. Because after your thing, it modulates, you know.
Okay, did somebody else sing it already on the track so I could hear it?
Choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day for you and me.
Is that sort of it? Sort of like that?
Bob wanted to be a part of this because there were people dying, and he made his fame and his fortune on public awareness. That's what he's known for. So for him to be in that room was ever so fitting. And I saw the real reason why he is Bob Dylan. The guy is probably one of the hardest working cats I've ever met before in my life. I kept waiting for him to get tired and sit down and rest. He kept saying, want me to do it again?
So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. Yeah, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me.
I think any time somebody asks you to take it one night at a time, keep people from starving to death someplace, it's pretty hard to, you can't say no.
So let's start giving.
Thank you.
That takes care of that.
Broke a legitimate sweat on it. Takes care of it.
Take care.
Not over yet. You can't even like make believe. Are you doing something? Are you going somewhere? Go. Yeah.
You killed it. And we made it through it.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Cindy?
Great. It's your time.
It's only 20 after 8, man.
The night session was finished. Daylight had come and it was time to go home. The session may have been over, but the work was hardly done. In fact, the most crucial part of the task, the assembling of all the various parts, sequences, and solos, pulling all of these complex elements into one cohesive package that would play seamlessly, was still to be done. That work was begun a few days later here at Lionshare Studio. Here, engineer Humberto Gatica and Quincy Jones spent several long days weaving the various threads into a final effective blend. To deepen the song's soulfulness, Quincy brought a handful of singers back into the studio, including Ray Charles, the man who had virtually invented soul music over 30 years ago.
Are you saying wheel or we?
It comes out like we.
It's true,
we make a better day.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm put what's there. It's true, we make a better day. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Howard. I give it to you, and we keep this here in case I have to write anything else, okay?
We can go down.
So you show me what you want now and where you want that vein, and then that's all you have to do. Okay. Go, one shot through. We are the world.
There's every word that you want to use a professional on. In the music business is Ray Charles. I call him the one-take genius.
Let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Listen, you and me. Woo, woo, woo. We are the world. We are the children to make a better day. Oh, let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Hey! I'm glad to say it. We are the children to make a brighter day. Just, did you hear what I said? All right.
Ray Charles, when he opens his mouth, you know it's a standard. And when he puts his hands on the keyboards, what else do you want him to do?
For me, I think it is a great opportunity, a wonderful chance to participate and contribute something to a wonderful cause, and I'm honored just to be asked to be a part of it.
Finally, Quincy brought in James Ingram.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
Spit flying everywhere.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day for you and me. I messed up. I messed up. Hey, everybody in the audience, I messed up. Hey, can you dig it? There's another way we use, but we don't say that on the radio. But I messed up. We are the world.
Maybe it really is that we have to be kind of the voice for the people through our song to really help those people that have lost their perspectives on what life is about.
So let's make a better day for you and me.
The recording of We Are the World was quite an event. Not merely a glorious star-studded evening, but possibly one of the most idealistic occasions in pop music history. In that way, it was also a measurement of just how much pop music has grown in recent years, and how many of its best artists feel responsible to the world around them. But in many ways, what happened that night was just a start. In the weeks following the We Are the World sessions, several other groups of artists, including Canadian, Latin American, gospel, and African pop stars, recorded similar benefit singles for the relief of hunger in Africa and other parts of the world. Perhaps the most moving response to USA for Africa took place on the morning of April 5th, Good Friday, when over 8,000 radio stations around the globe played We Are the World at the same time. It was an utterly unprecedented event that reached and affected millions of people of all races and all beliefs. But it's important to point out that we aren't just talking about worldwide popularity or massive record sales here. When 8,000 radio stations play this song at the same hour, it means that the world is momentarily a neighborhood of concern, coming together to save some hungry children. And when you or I buy this record, We Are the World, that concern becomes a concrete action. The money from the record sales and this program goes to work effectively and quickly, addressing not just immediate needs of hunger, but also the long-term matter of self-sufficiency, so that the trend of famine in these countries can be reversed and brought under control by those who are the most affected. This means that we can save real lives, give real people a chance to find their own strength again, and to live without the awful, ever-present fear of starvation. The poet John Donne once said, "Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind." But today, in the words of Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, a pop song says, "There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives." The message is much the same. If we're involved in mankind, we can't look away from what's happening in Africa, because if we do, we are gradually killing our conscience. And that might be the most terrible death of all.
It's so nice to be able to see this caliber of talent get together for this, you know, what is really a very tragic reason. It's a shame it takes something like this to put this group together, but it's nice to see and know that when it's all said and done, these people do respond.
I think it's a great thing. I think that artists should definitely do something positive like this. That's why I'm here.
When they called and asked for this, this was something that it's very close to me because I have been following it, and I was determined to do my little bit.
I got a feeling that we're creating a shift in what's going on in the world today about helping other people. And it's compassion, it's real new, and it's wonderful. It's a good feeling. I was happy they included me, really.
If this can be almost seen as a symbol for people to just begin to recognize, you know, and look around them a little bit, I think, you know, we'll all be better off.
People, you know, usually unless something immediately touches somebody, people don't react to it. I think that when you get all these people together like this, you know, just saying, well, don't turn away, you know, don't. It's hard. It's hard to not to turn away. You know, I think that's what everybody here is trying to say tonight.
The money will really get to go where it's supposed to go, and it's got so much good energy behind it. Amen. And so many good, talented people lending their names to the whole idea that it's just got to work.
Once anybody is involved in something like this, once you've tasted this, you can be sure that everybody will have a lifetime commitment to just doing this for the rest of their lives.
When something like this comes along that allows everyone to participate and feel that they're making a contribution, you rush to do it, because otherwise you feel that you're just a witness to just a tragedy.
I do believe that what we have done is that we're taking it one at a time. And out of this experience, we may be able to save, you know, a few thousand lives. And I think that's how we have to focus on it, one at a time. Catch a child, catch a woman, catch an old person, catch a young man. Just do it.
People are basically real good. I think that a lot of times you got to show them the way. Some individual has to take action. Bob took action, I took action, Harry Belafonte took action, Lionel took action, Michael Jackson took action. We all basically did something.
I'm appealing to you to get involved. I don't want anyone to get the hunger program out of your mind until the hunger stops, until babies stop dying, until communities stop dying, till people stop dying from hunger. They're going to need your help. Anything you can do, if you have any feeling in your heart at all about human life and the celebration of life, give of yourselves, give what you can. There are people dying.
time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free, as God has shown us by turning stone to bread. And so we all must lend